The sun hung bright over Ikoyi as Daniel, a humble shoemaker, walked slowly toward the enormous golden gate of Sophia Williams' mansion. His old, weather-beaten toolbox swung by his side, and under his arm he carried a pair of leather shoes belonging to one of the mansion's security guards. Daniel had spent the night repairing the shoes, stitching each tier with care and precision. He hoped the guard would pay him today. He needed the money to buy food for his younger sister. The mansion before him was the kind most people only ever saw on television. Tall pillars framed the entrance, and the walls gleamed with a fresh coat of white paint. Beautiful palm trees lined the driveway, and luxury cars were parked neatly under a shade. Daniel felt small, almost invisible, as he walked toward the gate. Just as he reached the entrance, a sleek black SUV glided through the driveway. The car door opened, and out stepped Sophia Williams, owner of Williams Luxury Group, daughter of wealthy parents, and one of the youngest billionaires in the real estate sector. Her heels clicked sharply against the marble floor, her diamond earrings sparkled as if competing with the sun. Sophia was 32, elegant and intimidating. Her confidence was obvious, but so was her pride. She was used to people lowering their heads when she approached. But that morning, her eyes narrowed as she spotted Daniel sitting cross-legged on the ground, busy repairing another pair of shoes. "What are you doing here?" she snapped, her voice filled with irritation. Daniel looked up, startled. He stood quickly and bowed slightly. "Good afternoon, Ma. I came to return the repaired shoes to your security officer." Sophia frowned. "So you're a shoemaker?" "Yes, Ma," he replied softly. She scoffed, a harsh sound that cut through the silence. "Shoemaking? You're wasting your time with that beggar's work." She waved her hand in disgust. "Go find a real job, a real profession. Shoemaking is for beggars and losers." Daniel felt the words slice through him. He swallowed hard, forcing a polite smile. "Ma, shoemaking is my skill. It is what I do to survive." Sophia didn't let him finish. She kicked his tools aside, her nose twisted in scorn. "Get out of here. Don't ever bring this nonsense near my mansion again." Daniel bent quickly to gather his scattered tools. His heart ached, but he did not protest. He simply nodded and whispered, "I'm sorry, Ma." Sophia turned and walked away without another word. Her heels clicked loudly, echoing her superiority. Daniel walked away slowly, each step heavy with embarrassment and pain. He wondered why someone so blessed with wealth could speak so harshly. He wondered why dignity was denied to those who worked with their hands. But he did not curse her. He simply said a quiet prayer in his heart. "God, help me grow. Help me become better. And please help her see the world clearly." Sophia, on the other hand, never gave the encounter another thought. She believed she had done nothing wrong. In her eyes, she had simply corrected someone who did not understand real ambition. What she did not know was that life was preparing a lesson for her, one she could never have learned from her wealthy parents, her luxurious environment, or her flawless success. And the very man she mocked that day, Daniel the shoemaker, would become the one to teach it to her. A lesson about character, a lesson about humility, a lesson about true success. But life had to restructure everything first. Sophia was standing tall on a mountain that wasn't hers. Soon the wind would blow, soon her world would shake, and the same shoemaker she had stepped on would be the very hand life used to lift her again. But she could not know that yet. Not on that warm afternoon, not while her pride stood taller than her mansion gate. That day, in her eyes, Daniel was just a shoemaker. But the future had already begun rewriting the roles they would one day play. Sophia Williams had grown up in a world where everything came easily. Her parents had gifted her the Williams Luxury Group immediately after she graduated from business school. She had never fought for anything, never struggled to afford anything, never faced rejection. Her life was a smooth road paved with comfort. But life has its seasons, and seasons do not last forever. It began subtly. Investors started withdrawing from her company because of certain decisions she made without consultation. Then one of her major estates developed structural issues due to inexperience in material selection. Customers demanded refunds, lawsuits surfaced. Funds began slipping through cracks she never noticed. But Sophia believed it was a temporary storm. She bought a new car, she traveled, she hosted lavish parties, she maintained her glamour while her business quietly sank. One morning, her accountant stood before her, voice trembling. "Madam Sophia, If we do not secure new investors or reduce expenses, the company will collapse. Sophia waved him off. Please, everything is fine. You accountants always exaggerate. But just weeks later, the collapse arrived, loud, merciless, and undeniable. Her company was sued for breach of contract. Her accounts were frozen. Her assets were seized. The court ruled that several properties had to be auctioned. Employees left. Partners cut ties. Her mansion was reclaimed by the bank. Her cars were towed away one after the other. Sophia's world shattered like glass thrown to the ground. Her friends disappeared faster than the wealth she once flaunted. No one returned her calls. No one offered support. The people who had once mirrored her confidence now avoided her shadow. And the worst pain, her parents refused to help. This is the consequence of pride, her father said. You must learn the value of humility. Within a year, the billionaire who mocked a shoemaker became a woman with no home, no job, no savings, and no one to call family. She wandered from street to street, begging for scraps, barely surviving each day. The harsh reality of hunger, cold nights, and degrading stares broke her pride little by little. She slept under bridges. She washed herself behind abandoned buildings. She dug through trash bins with trembling hands, searching for leftover food. One evening, she sat near a trash can in IKEA, her hair messy, her once smooth skin stained with dirt. Her clothes were torn and barely held together. As she rummaged for food, she heard the soft hum of a luxurious car. She looked up. A shiny black SUV slowed beside her. The window rolled down, her breath caught in her throat. It was Daniel, the same shoemaker she had once called a beggar and a loser. But he was no longer poor, no longer sitting on the ground, mending shoes with tired fingers. He now wore a tailored suit. A gold wristwatch shone on his wrist. His car sparkled. His eyes were calm, wise, and full of quiet strength. For a moment, their eyes locked. Sophia froze. Shame burned through her like fire. She wished the earth would swallow her. Daniel looked at her, not with mockery, not with pride, but with something she had never shown him: compassion. The light turned green, and Daniel's car drove off slowly. But the image of Sophia, homeless and broken, followed him. The lesson had begun. She was no longer the wealthy woman insulting a shoemaker. Life had reversed the table, and Daniel was becoming everything she once believed he could never be. Sophia's life as a homeless woman blurred into endless days of survival. She no longer counted time. Hunger became a familiar companion. Shame followed her like a shadow. Every person who passed by seemed to see her as nothing more than a failure. One morning, as she dragged her tired body across a sidewalk, she noticed a piece of paper stuck to the bottom of her shoe. She peeled it off with curiosity. It was a flyer for a nearby church. Sophia stood still. For the first time in months, something inside her whispered, "Go." She followed the small map printed on the flyer and walked toward the church. Her legs trembled from weakness and exhaustion, but the thought of real food kept her going. As she stepped inside the building, she was greeted immediately by warm smiles and gentle voices. The smell of freshly cooked rice drifted from the hall. A woman with a kind face approached her. "Welcome, dear," she said. "My name is Sister Mary. Please come in." Sophia lowered her gaze, ashamed of her dirty clothes and tangled hair. I just came for the food," she whispered. Sister Mary smiled softly. "That's perfectly fine. Everyone is welcome here." She handed Sophia a plate filled with steaming rice, beans, plantain, and chicken. Tears welled in Sophia's eyes. She could hardly remember the last time she had eaten a proper meal. She sat at a corner table and ate slowly, trying not to cry, but tears rolled down her cheeks anyway, mixing with gratitude and humiliation. When she finished, she felt a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Would you like to talk?" Sister Mary asked. Sophia tried to speak, but her voice cracked, and just like that, the wall she had built around her heart crumbled. She told Sister Mary everything: her wealth, her arrogance, her downfall, her regrets, and the shoemaker she had insulted. Sister Mary listened without judgment, only nodding and offering gentle reassurance. When Sophia finished, the older woman took her hands and said, "Sophia, you are not your past. You are not the mistakes you made. You are loved. You are forgiven, and you will rise again." Sophia's heart shook. She had been starving not only for food, but for kindness. Over the next few weeks, she returned to the church daily. She received clothing, a place to sleep, and counseling. Slowly, she began rebuilding herself, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. But Daniel remained on her mind. The memory of his quiet compassion haunted her. She wondered if he hated her. She wondered if he remembered her. She wondered if he could ever forgive her. Weeks passed. One afternoon, Sophia volunteered at the church's soup kitchen, wanting to give back in any small way she could. She was serving food when the church doors opened. A tall man walked in with a gentle smile. Sophia dropped the serving spoon. Her heart nearly stopped. It was Daniel, older, wiser, successful, and kinder than she ever deserved. Their eyes met. Sophia felt tears burning. Daniel stepped forward. "Sophia," he said softly, "it's good to see you again." Sophia fell to her knees and sobbed. "Daniel, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I was wrong. I was cruel. I don't deserve your kindness." Daniel knelt beside her and took her hand. "I forgave you a long time ago," he said. "I have been praying for you." Sophia cried harder at those words her wealthy parents never taught her, words she would never forget. Grace, forgiveness, compassion, the things Daniel possessed, the things Sophia never learned, the things her parents never taught her. He was teaching her again, not with books, not with lectures, but with character. And Sophia was learning. At last, she was learning. Sophia's transformation did not happen overnight. It took time, slow steps, painful reflections, and a total shift in how she saw life. The church community embraced her, offering love she never knew she needed. Sister Mary became the mother figure she had never had, guiding her with patience and wisdom. As Sophia regained her strength, she began volunteering more actively, cleaning, cooking, organizing food drives, helping other homeless individuals who walked through the church doors. People who knew nothing about her past saw her heart, and they loved her. But the person she thought of the most was Daniel. Days passed, and Daniel began visiting the church frequently. Sometimes he came to donate food. Other times he came to speak to Sister Mary. But Sophia noticed something. He always found a moment to speak to her. Their conversations were simple at first. "How are you feeling today? Are you eating well? Do you need anything?" But gradually they moved to deeper conversations: life, mistakes, forgiveness, and hope. Daniel spoke openly about his journey, how he continued working despite insults from customers, how he saved every little profit, and how he eventually received the government contract that transformed his life. Sophia listened with admiration. For the first time, she saw that Daniel's success was not an accident. It was the fruit of determination, patience, and character. And she felt humbled. One afternoon, Daniel approached her while she was sorting supplies in the church storeroom. "Sophia," he began hesitantly, "can we talk?" Sophia nodded, her heart quickening. "I've been thinking," Daniel said softly. "I want to offer you a job. At my shoe factory." Sophia froze. "Me?" she whispered. "After everything I said to you?" Daniel smiled gently. "You are not the person you were back then." Sophia looked down, tears filling her eyes. I don't know anything about shoes." "You can learn," he said, "and I will teach you." Sophia cried quietly, overwhelmed by his grace. "I don't deserve your kindness," she said. Daniel shook his head. "Kindness is not something people earn. It is something we give because it is right." Sophia accepted the job, and so her new life began. Every morning she arrived early, watching Daniel guide his workers with patience and respect. His leadership was firm but compassionate. His workers loved him. His business flourished, and Sophia soon saw why. He worked with his hands, he worked with his heart, he led with humility. Daniel taught her everything: how to stitch soles, how to polish leather, how to repair shoes, how to treat customers. And Sophia learned faster than she expected. In time, Daniel discovered she also had a brilliant mind. She helped him organize files, build new systems, improve customer service, and attract new clients. Daniel realized she had a natural gift for management and strategy, skills she never had the humility to use correctly before. Weeks turned into months. Sophia became confident again, but this time grounded, grateful, and compassionate. One afternoon, Daniel invited her into his office. "You've changed this company," he said. "You're talented, hard-working, dedicated. I want to make you my partner." Sophia gasped. Her hand flew to her chest. She had never felt so honored. Partner, she whispered in disbelief. Daniel nodded. You have earned it. Sophia burst into tears. For the first time in her life, she wasn't valued for her money. She wasn't valued for her status. She wasn't valued for her beauty. She was valued for her character. And she knew Daniel was teaching her again. Teaching her what wealth never taught her, what pride never taught her, what her wealthy parents never taught her. He was teaching her the meaning of true success. Daniel and Sophia's partnership grew smoothly. They worked side by side every day, complementing each other perfectly. Daniel handled craftsmanship and training. Sophia handled operations, marketing, and client relations. Under their combined leadership, the company expanded rapidly, opening new branches and offering employment to dozens of young people. The community admired their teamwork. Customers praised the quality of their shoes. Even government officials visited the factory, impressed by Daniel's success story. But something else was growing, quietly, gently, between Daniel and Sophia. Love. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't dramatic. It was steady, soft, and deep, rooted in respect. One evening, as they stayed late working on a new design idea, Daniel finally gathered courage. Sophia, he said softly, may I ask you something? Sophia looked up from her work. Of course. Daniel's voice trembled slightly. Why did you change? What gave you the courage to rebuild your life? Sophia's eyes softened. She leaned back in her chair, thinking. You did, Daniel. Your forgiveness healed something inside me. You showed me a kindness I never deserved. You treated me better than I treated you. You taught me humility. Daniel blinked, touched deeply. Sophia continued, my parents gave me money, but they never taught me compassion. They gave me comfort, but not character. Everything I lacked, you had. Everything I needed, you showed. Daniel swallowed, emotion tightening his voice. Sophia, I care about you. Deeply. Sophia felt her heart race. I care about you too. Daniel stood slowly, walked around the table and gently lifted her hand. Sophia, he said earnestly, will you marry me? Tears filled Sophia's eyes. Her heart felt full, full of gratitude, full of redemption, full of love she never thought she deserved. Yes, Daniel, she whispered, I will marry you. Daniel smiled, relieved and joyful. He pulled her into a tight embrace. The workers who passed by later saw them smiling and laughing softly in the office, unaware that the greatest transformation of the factory wasn't its growth, but the couple at its heart. The news of their engagement spread quickly. The church celebrated. The community rejoiced. Even people who once mocked Sophia now admired her strength and humility. Their wedding was simple but beautiful. Daniel wore a cream-colored agbada. Sophia wore a white gown with delicate lace. Sister Mary walked her down the aisle. Many of Daniel's workers attended, cheering and clapping as they exchanged vows. Sophia had never felt more loved. She had never felt more understood. As they held hands at the altar, Sophia whispered, Daniel, thank you. You taught me everything wealth could not. You taught me everything my parents never taught me. Daniel smiled and kissed her forehead. And you taught me something too, he said. What is that? She asked. That love grows best in humble hearts. Their vows were sealed, their marriage flourished, and their story became a legend in the community, a story of a proud billionaire who lost everything, a humble shoemaker who rose through hard work, and the love that transformed them both. Their life proved that true wealth is not money. It is kindness. It is humility. It is forgiveness. It is the courage to change. A lesson Sophia carried for the rest of her life. The lesson the poor shoemaker taught her, the lesson her parents never could. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you like the story, comment, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.